Know that here each contributes in their own way to the beauty of the whole. Come, let us worship together, all genders, all sexualities, ages, politics, theists, atheists, and agnostics, whoever you are in this moment, wherever you have been, and wherever you are going, there is a place for you here. As we begin our worship time together, may we remember we are held by the values of this faith: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, with love at the center.
Good morning. My name is Dirk Matthias. Our chalice lighting words are from Reverend Scott Taylor. Today, my friend Julie Montoya is lighting the chalice for us today. We light this flame in honor of all that leads us forward, all that leans down and helps us up after we fall. All that helps us remember the world is planted with seeds of surprise. Even when our days have grown dark, even when our warmth seems so far away, may this hour of tender and courageous connection help us fall in love again with this wild world. May it reignite our trust that the path ahead will be gentle. May it lure us back to belief in the always returning light.
Please join us in singing our chalice response, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots fold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. My name is Amy Brock, and I'm the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth, and it is time for a time for all ages. So if you are young or young at heart, we invite you to find your way to the rug this morning for our exploration together.
Good morning. Good to see you all. Chris, can I borrow your Rubik's Cube really quick? Great, thank you. So do you all know what this is?
5 by 5.
Right, it's a 5 by 5 Rubik's Cube, right? If we were going to use our imagination, what else could it be?
Pancake.
Well, it could be a pancake. A very square pancake. What else? Oh, he's got one too. What else could it be? Whoa, we are using our imagination in tremendous ways. It could be a block of ice being eaten by a puppy. All right. What's something like like in this room we could use it for? What could we use this for?
You could use it for a ball.
You could use it for a ball. Okay. Oh, maybe I misheard right. So if it's a Rubik's Cube and we could pretend that it's a ball, it could be like two things at once, right? How could it be two things at once? Well, there's a story I'd like for you to hear. Have you all ever heard of Frog and Toad?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to hear a story about Frog and Toad.
Dragons and Giants. Frog and Toad were reading a book together. "The people in this book are brave," said Toad. "They fight dragons and giants, and they are never afraid." "I wonder if we are brave," said Frog. Frog and Toad looked into a mirror. "We look brave," said Frog. "Yes, but are we?" asked Toad. Frog and Toad went outside. "We can try to climb this mountain," said Frog. "That should tell us if we are brave." Frog went leaping over the rocks, and Toad came puffing up behind them. They came to a dark cave. A big snake came out of the cave. "Hello, lunch," said the snake when he saw Frog and Toad. He opened his wide mouth. Frog and Toad jumped away. Toad was shaking. "I am not afraid," he cried. They climbed higher, and they heard a loud noise. Many large stones were rolling down the mountain. "It's an avalanche," cried Toad. Frog and Toad jumped away. Frog was trembling. "I'm not afraid," he shouted. They came to the top of the mountain. The shadow of a hawk fell over them. Frog and Toad jumped under a rock. The hawk flew away. "We are not afraid, screamed Frog and Toad. They ran down the mountain very fast. They ran past the place where they saw the avalanche. They ran past the place where they saw the snake. They ran all the way to Toad's house. "Oh, Frog, I am glad to have a brave friend like you," said Toad. He jumped into the bed and pulled the covers over his head. "And I'm happy to know a brave friend like you, Toad," said Frog. He jumped into the closet and shut the door. Toad stayed in the bed, and Frog stayed in the closet. They stayed there for a long time, just feeling very brave together.
So Frog and Toad wondered if they were brave, and they went on a walk, and they ran into a gigantic snake that wanted to eat them, and then they got chased by boulders, and they ran away from that, and then they were chased by, was it a hawk or a raven? A hawk, okay, chased by a hawk. And then they ran down the mountain saying, I am brave, and they got home, jumped under the covers, and hid in the closet. And they said, it's nice to have a brave friend like you. Do you think that they were scared? Yes. Do you think that they were also brave? Yes. They could be two things at the same time. Can you imagine that they were brave and they were really scared? That's exactly it. You can be both things at once. We are complicated and big humans with all kinds of things going inside of us, and just because we're feeling one thing doesn't mean we can't be feeling the other thing as well. And when we can allow both those things, we can embody resilience, which is what we're talking about this month. But it's a way that we can hold both and all those feelings inside of us and make us kind of stronger. Do you have a question over here? What we can ask?
Like when you're hangry.
Exactly. Like when you're hangry, right? Two things at once. Hangry, right, hangry. You're hungry and you're angry. You're not just hungry, you're not just angry, but you're hangry. Two things at once, that's right. Yeah.
We're going to explore this more in our different spaces today, but before we go, we need to say the Children's Covenant. Will you help me say it? In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved. Please rise and form the arch as we send our friends to RE.
As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go, as you go. As you go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go, as you go.
Good morning. You're getting a lot of good mornings from us up here this morning. My name's Laura Pitney. I'm the engagement coordinator here at UUFCO, and I'm going to start our announcements with the very most important thing, which is if you maybe dropped your keys, I have them. So, find me, or I will leave them somewhere for you. It's a mystery. A couple of things. You may have noticed that there are some collections happening today. Nourish, which is our food drive that happens once a month, and Care for the Incarcerated, which is happening only this month, are both happening out in the gathering hall. So please drop your food or bring personal items that are going to be going off to people who are recently released from incarceration. So we're collecting those this month. One of our members here wants to start a mahjong group, so if that sparks your interest, there is a sign up at the kiosk, and together you all will figure out the whens and the wheres. So make sure to take care of that so you can get a mahjong group going. Bethlehem Inn, where we bring a meal pre-cooked off-site, and we bring all the components to Bethlehem Inn once a month on the fourth Thursday. That is coming up. Please sign up. I noticed that there are quite a lot of available slots, so let's get our donations on there and ready to go to feed those people who need a warm meal. You may have seen that there is a potluck and ice skating for families. Make sure that you let Amy know if you would like to do that. It's going to be really fun. It'll happen next Sunday after service. Ooh, this is exciting for me, maybe not for you. The new directory, which we are calling the Engagement Hub. I know. Thank you, Mark Hickman, for that really great idea. The Engagement Hub, this is going to replace what we have until now called Breeze, because Breeze is slowly dying. We are moving away from it. We have adopted a new system, and we are rolling it out slowly, not all at once. And on Friday, if you, on Friday, an email went out to anyone who leads or organizes a group or a committee or a team, because you are going to need to learn how to use this system first before we roll it out to everyone else. If you did not see that email from Leora, please look for it. Sign up for the Engagement Hub, sign up for a training. We're going to have a bunch of them over the next 2 weeks. So please look for that, and if you didn't get one, you can email me and let me know, and we'll get you signed up. My name is Laura Pitney, and my email is laura@uufco.org. So many exciting things. We're having membership classes today, and a bunch of you have signed up, which is very exciting. And after we finish in here, please go directly into Linus Pauling, which is that room right after you exit the sanctuary, and we're going to have lunch, so you can go ahead and get started serving your lunch. The rest of you are not invited. I got a little bit of it. Somebody was a little irritated for good reason. Things are disappearing from our coffee supplies. The tea box has gone poof, and last week the carafes we use for hot chocolate had gone poof, but then surprisingly returned on Monday. So please don't take things, or if you need them, talk to me and we'll make sure that you can have them for what you need, and then they'll be back here in time for Sunday. We share everything, but we got to get it back where it belongs. Okay, so did you tune in or come to the Pledge-a-thon? Yay! Yay! It was so fun. I mean, it was so fun. I was here all day. It was so great. Get ready to clap. We have raised $479,000 in pledges. All right, so I don't know how much you know about the pyramids, the Great Pyramids. 193 people made up that $479,000. So that's great, right? But we have 600,000 as our goal, and we have 193 people who've given, which means there's like a lot more still to give to fill in the bottom part of that. That means like $5, $10, $100, $1,000, I don't know, whatever you can do. But that's going to help us get to the goal of $600,000 from the last 100 or so folks who had given last year. So please renew. And then if you've never done it before, how exciting, you get to do it for the first time. And I get to talk to you now. See, you could pretend that there was a transition, that there's going to be a new staff person, but there isn't. It's me. I'm going to talk to you again about how grateful we are as staff for the fact that we have this place and all of you giving so we can keep having this place, right? This place exists because of you. So I'm going to tell you some things. First of all, I asked staff, and I've been thinking about what are all of the things that we're grateful for, where there's a lot. I mean, obviously our salaries. I mean, okay, that's kind of obvious. For professional development, for the funds so that we can sit and have a coffee with one of you and talk about how things are going in your life. It means we can say yes to someone who needs scholarship funds for any of the events that we do that cost money, because it's really hard to say no. So we couldn't do anything like that if it weren't for all of the pledges that you make. You help by giving us trainings so we can get better at our own individual expertise so that we can serve you better and better. For conferences, so we can stay connected to other professionals in the wider Unitarian Universalist world. Okay, so those are practical things. But remember, giving is cyclical. Your gifts to UUFCO are gifts back to yourselves. By having paid staff, you create more possibility, more capacity for this fellowship to fulfill our mission to find meaning, celebrate life, and serve the spirit of love and justice in the world. So we're grateful because you're gifting us with a really sacred opportunity. You're calling us to support you, each of you, individually and collectively, so that we can bring more peace, more love, and more harmony into your lives and into the greater collective and out into this world, far and near. You give us the sacred opportunity to work alongside all of you to create a culture here at UUFCO that we can be proud of, that offers refuge and a place of belonging. In the words of Tande Kia, so if someone tells you they know pain, loneliness, loss, fear, and dismay, but does not know the feeling of being sustained by a love that is wider, deeper, and infinitely vaster than the sorrows, hear these words as a commission. Hear your commission to love, to create community, and to heal. One at a time in personal relationships, 10 at a time in covenant groups, hundreds at a time in our congregations, hundreds of thousands at a time in our religious movement, millions at a time as we take our commission deeper and deeper into humanity's heart as a justice-loving people who will transform the world. This is the good news of our faith. So we, each of us, staff and you, we are all like a fleet of ships sailing out into unknown waters, life, right? Unknown waters. And we're navigating together. So what do your gifts do? They help us pay for expertise in navigation and in shipbuilding and in ship maintenance Staff here at UUFCO provide a critical function of continuity. So we serve you. We are here all the time, and we serve you. We're here in service to our mission, and in many ways, it's like we have 357 bosses. Sometimes there are things that you want to pay people to do, right? Because we're a volunteer-led organization, but also you want to pay people to do certain things like replace the heating and cooling system. I mean, I know you guys don't want to do that. Or lead the renovation project to install a new stove, or write profound sermons, or run our weekly soundboard, or share with us the beautiful music that creates this sacred space, to coordinate all the private events we have here, to keep a finger on the pulse of the fellowship, the membership, so the ships can stay sailing ahead in the same direction without anyone getting lost or left behind. And so we are grateful that you've entrusted us with these functions. It gives us the gift of offering our skills and talents to such a life, positive force for good. So, thank you for all the contributions you've made, for your pledge this month that helps us chart our waters forward once we hit July. It's good to plan ahead. We don't want to wait till July. We've got to start now. And thank you in advance to anyone who has not yet given and is going to give this month. So, let's sail forth in solidarity and love.
We create the story of this community each Sunday morning and every day in between. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. We dedicate ourselves and our offering to the work of this congregation as we weave a tapestry of love both within and beyond these walls.
We share our joys and our sorrows and our gratitudes as a congregation and as a people. We do this because when we share these things, we know that they are held in the love of this fellowship. If there's a joy or a sorrow or gratitude you'd like to light a candle for that's in your own heart, please feel free to do so while I'm reading our written ones, which are on our kiosk each week if you'd like to share with the congregation. Annis and Jim Henson share with us this morning a joy, a sorrow, and a gratitude. Our joy is being with our families in San Diego this February, our daughter Beth, her family, and others. Lots of foot-stomping high school basketball. A sorrow is that Beth had a Mohs skin cancer surgery all day on Friday. It was on the edge of her nose, and grafting is scheduled for next Monday to restore her nose, and they welcome prayers for that. And a gratitude that they are able to be there and to be supportive, accompanying her and her family, just as others in our country or the world cannot do. Thanks to everyone with our love, Annis and Jim. James Simmons Cox shares that I am so grateful to UUFCO, the island of love and justice in our country and times. We're all grateful for this place, James, I think. If you write an anonymous joy, sorrow, gratitude, it doesn't guarantee that it'll be read. But this one's pretty good, too good to pass. I'm grateful for all the women in my life for helping me to see the things I take for granted. Signed, a man. Hold on, let me just change this to all the men. All right, all the men. And speaking of gratitude, yes, the choir shares that the flowers this morning are in gratitude for our fabulous choir director, Sterling, for his enthusiasm, his encouragement, and talent in leading us with passion and skill. I'll invite you just to settle into your body, take a deep breath, as we move into a time of stillness and meditation. For our spoken meditation today, we'll be reading a piece called Breathe by Lynn Unger.
Breathe, said the wind.
How can I breathe at a time like this, when the air is so full of smoke, of burning tires, of burning lives?
Just breathe, the wind insisted.
Easy for you to say, if the weight of injustice is not wrapped around your throat, cutting off all the air.
I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe.
Don't tell me to be calm when there are so many reasons to be angry and so much cause for despair.
I didn't say to be calm, said the wind. I said to breathe. We are going to need a lot of air to make this hurricane together.
For our congregational song, I'm going to sing the melody, and then I invite you to sing along as we sing through our verses. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning in I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. There are more mountains falling, they will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters when they find their way to me. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will walk through the fire when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains when they find their way to me. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know.
Our reading this morning comes from Andrea Gibson. They were an American poet and activist. Gibson was appointed as the Poet Laureate of Colorado in 2023. Their work was focused on justice, LGBTQ topics, life, and in the end, mortality. She died of ovarian cancer in July of 2025. It's titled, How the Worst Day of My Life Became the Best. When I realized the storm was inevitable, I made it my medicine. Took 2 snowflakes on the tongue in the morning, 2 snowflakes on the tongue by noon. There were no side effects, only sound effects. reverb added to my lifespan, an echo that asked, what part of your life's recording is skipping? What wound is on repeat? Have you done everything you can to break out of that groove? By nighttime, I was intimate with the difference between tying my laces and tuning the strings section of my shoes, made a symphony of walking away from everything that did not want my life to sing. Felt a love for myself so consistent, metronomes tried to copyright my heartbeat. Finally understood I am the conductor of my own life, and I will be even after I die. I, like the trees, will decide what I become. Porch swing, church pew, an envelope that must be licked to be closed. Kinky choice, but I didn't close. I opened and opened until I could imagine the pain was the sensation of my spirit not breaking, that my mind was a parachute that could always open in time, that I could wear my heart on my sleeve and never grow out of that shirt, that every falling leaf is a tiny kite with a string too small to see, held by the part of me in charge of making beauty out of grief.
I opened and opened until I could imagine that the pain was a sensation of my spirit not breaking. That every falling leaf is like a tiny kite with a string too small to see, held by the part of me in charge of making beauty out of grief. Andrea Gibson, the poet, wrote those words as she knew she was dying. She summoned some tremendous strength from somewhere inside of her as she continued to write and share her experience of her oncoming death with her poet-reading world. She didn't know that was coming. She didn't know that strength would be asked of her. But when she needed it, it arrived. Or perhaps she located it. About a year ago, my wife Rebecca's uncle, Scott, found out he had pancreatic cancer. It was a sudden thing, all of a sudden, and it was clear that it was going to be fatal. He didn't know that he was going to need the strength that he summoned over this past year. And in these last few weeks, he died about 2 weeks ago. In those weeks preceding up to it, in his weakened state, he was still incredibly strong. Where he summoned that strength from, I don't know, somewhere inside of him. And so now our thoughts and our hearts and our care turns to his wife, Aunt Susie. And as she's dealing with his death and sorting out her new life, she's gathering this strength. I don't know where she's gathering it from, but you can tell it's there. And when someone close to us dies, it's full of all kinds of surprises. Those first things, those first times, that first night sleeping alone, or the first time, her kids visited without having their father there. Or she was on the phone one time, and the person on the phone was going over a form that she had filled out, making sure that all the information was correct. And this person said, I have Scott Gorham here listed as your emergency contact. And Susie slowly said, I'm sorry, my husband died last week. And the person on the other end of the phone said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Would you like to keep him as your emergency contact? And Susie just laughed and laughed and laughed because it was hilarious. And the person, I think, realized what they had just said and said, oh, I'm so sorry. You probably want to change that, don't you? Two things at once. Tremendous grief and that humor in that moment. She was able to find that place where her pain was open, yet that grief was still tied to something beautiful. I'm sure in your life you've had this experience too sometime. All of us have had hardship unexpected. I don't know what it looked like in your life. Maybe it was the death of someone close to you. Maybe it was the loss of a marriage, or maybe it was the loss of a job, or just something under you shifted automatically, and your life was different. All of us have had that experience. And all of us will have more of them, to be sure. So you've already done it. You've already gotten through whatever that trial was. It might have changed you. It might have shifted who you are. It might still be with you. But you got through it. You summoned some sort of strength. In some ways, you already know what to do because you've already experienced it in some way. There's a popular podcast and a book by Glennon Doyle. It's simply called We Can Do Hard Things. And it's true, isn't it? We can do hard things. We've done them before, and they'll be required of us in the future. There is this old story that perhaps you've heard attributed to the Cherokee Nation, the two wolves. And it's a quick parable, and an elder in the tribe is talking to a younger warrior, and he says, there are two wolves inside of you. One is full of joy and positivity and light and love, and the other one is full of greed and hate and harm. And these two wolves are always vying for your insides. And the young warrior asks the elder, well, which wolf will win? Which wolf will remain? And the elder says, the one that you feed. The one that you feed. The beauty that you can notice, accept the hardships in life that you can get through and understand why, and that you are resilient, and that you can do hard things. The one that you feed. And sometimes it can be a little more complicated than that. That sounds pretty simple, but we know life can be a little messier. There is a comedian, Jonathan Edward Durham, who says, I don't have two wolves inside of me. I have Frog and Toad. And they are both snackish and sleepy and a little cranky. And that's not an excuse, but it's a reason. So, yeah. Sometimes it's not as easy as just feeding the wolf that's good or that makes us healthy or positive. And that's just fine, because sometimes we feel like Frog and Toad, snackish, sleepy, and a little cranky. And that's okay. Sometimes we feel like hiding under the covers or staying in the closet when things get hard. And that's okay too. Because if you recall what Frog and Toad said as they were shaking under the covers and hiding in the closet, they said, after they had figured it out, we are so brave. We are so brave, aren't we? It's good to have a brave friend like you, they said, as they were scared. This is most often how it happens. Rather than some striking moment of absolute resilience and strength, generally we are both scared and brave and strong at the same time. Do I contradict myself? Very well, then I contradict myself. I contain multitudes, said Walt Whitman in The Leaves of Grass. Because the reality is, life works in these cycles. And while you have gotten through that hard thing, as I said, there will be more hard things to come. Pema Chodron, the Buddhist monk, writes in her book, When Things Fall Apart, things falling apart is kind of a testing and also kind of a healing. We think the point is to pass the test or to overcome the problem, but the truth is that things don't really get solved. They come together, and then they fall apart. And they come together again, and then they fall apart again. And it's just like that. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen. The room for grief, for relief, for misery, and for joy. The truth is, when we're scared or when things are hard, there are lots of places to draw strength from outside us, external sources that people find. Some people draw on their idea and understanding of a loving creator or God who shows them the way or comforts them or gives them the strength they need. Others might look into their values or their ethics and say, I find strength by believing in these values. Or perhaps it's with these people. Or maybe it's looking into the history of the world and seeing that people have been doing hard things for a long time. Or maybe, yes, it's in your own history. Maybe it's a spiritual grounding practice that can make you feel like you have courage. Or maybe it's just the ability to hold and let go and accept what is happening around you. But even if we can source this strength from outside of us, at the end of the day, it is located within us. Something within us is where that strength comes from. This strength inside. It can be a compelling idea, but can also be complicated. It doesn't always reveal for me a strong and calm center when I quiet and go inside. Sometimes when I do that, I feel anxious or scared, or like I want to run back down the mountain. There's grief and there's internalized self-critique. There's mistakes that stack up. Sometimes inside's not such a quiet, calm place. But that is how it is, because in that same place, there are all kinds of other things as well. There's appreciation and gratitude. There's immense love. There is seeing justice be done in the world. Strength, then, isn't really necessarily just the one or the other. Perhaps it is more that we can witness all this happening. We can hold all this. We can allow the two things at once, the grief and the foot in the mouth of the person on the other end of the phone that makes us laugh. Frog and Toad, yes, they are scared and they are brave. Oftentimes when we think about strength coming in from inside, we might be tempted to think of it as like a force in the world. But I find that force oftentimes is short-lived and an attempt to overpower or control the whole system. And I wonder if strength is better described as a way to integrate and allow all the things at once, thereby making us more resilient, more whole, more the entire world of what we are. We see this with these Buddhist monks walking across the country for peace. Have you seen this in the news? It's quite something. Someone sent a video to me, Heather did. She said, check this out. And I said, well, this is really cool. And then I realized, oh, this is happening right now. I thought it was some throwback from a long time ago. But these monks are on a 2,300-mile journey across the country for peace. And they are able to hold a lot of things at once. As last week, they were accosted by people who wanted to force them into their vision of what love meant. Think Westboro Baptist Church, but down in Alabama, as they lovingly berated these monks walking. And the video shows us that the monks just held it. They were able to hold a larger love, not to fight back, but just to allow it. Holding it all can be difficult. And that is what we are called to do, not look away from reality, but to also hold hope. There was a conversation I had last week amongst some ministers, and they said, well, if you were to talk about what's happening in Minneapolis and distill kind of what you learned there, what would that look like? And it was a few things, but the main one was yes. Look at this reality, and it is hard, but the story is not yet written, and there is so much hope to be had. Hope because we can see it. Hope because of what seems that we could now call a theology of radical neighboring. And that's what they invited us to come back and do. Get to know our neighbors, get to know each other. And this could be the most important and radical work we could do for the times to come. Knowing each other, holding each other, holding space for one another, allowing all of it, the fear and the hope. Because it is in being together that we can create something. When asked, how did that happen? Because they put this call out, and 600 clergy came within a week. And when we arrived, the program that they had was tremendous. And we scratched our head and we said to one of our friends who lives in Minneapolis, how did you all pull that off? And they said it's because we already know each other, the people who put it on. We have relationships we built over years that are deep and important to us. And because of that, we could start right in. Now, it's unfortunate they have those relationships because of the hardship that has been visited upon Minneapolis over the years. But nonetheless, when those hardships came, they reached out to one another and were able to find a collective strength, and in doing so, a strength inside themselves that held it all. Liz, can I have this picture? here's a picture from when ice was in Bend a handful of years ago. Those are my hands in the air, and the ICE officer who is staring at me in the face is near snarling. He is intense, and it was clear he was wishing and wanting for the order to go forward. And I was scared out of my gourd. And if I were standing there alone, I don't think I would have been standing there. But we see in this next picture that I was not alone. I was with my progressive clergy colleagues here in Bend. We meet monthly, and we have formed relationships over years with one another, and in doing so, found a collective strength together, and we're able to locate an internal strength within us. It's quite something to get together with people. That's good. Picture that. Thanks. There's a quote by Shane Koikazan. He said, if life gives you lemons, find the person that life gave sugar to and form a team. Then find the person that life gave water to and be a gang. A sweet, refreshing gang. This is how this happens, I think. And it's important to keep the hope alive that we offer each other, that we see in history. That was one of the other main lessons that they told us to remember when we were in Minneapolis. That we well know the stories in history where authoritarianism became writ large and became the law. We can look back into history and name those throughout time because they are written in history books. What is less told and less known are the countless stories of resistance that did not allow authoritarianism to happen in locations all over the globe. Those stories are true as well, and those are stories of hope, collaboration, relationship, and love. I'd like to close by sharing a parable that a colleague of mine wrote last week. Her name is Reverend Sharon Wiley. And she wrote this parable about evil. And so it came to pass that a great evil spread across the land. Many people saw the evil and recognized its danger, and they pointed at it, naming it, and calling for their neighbors to see it and to turn away. But many other people saw the evil and did not see the danger. They thought it was beautiful and welcomed it with open arms. And so the evil grew stronger and spread. At first it seemed unbelievable, crashing like a circus clown. But it promised safety, belonging, and certainty in a world of rapid change. It told people who they were, who they should fear, and who they should blame. And many were relieved to turn their fear and anger toward the vulnerable. Those who named the danger were mocked. You're overreacting, they were told. This is just noise, just theater. Things will be better now. And the evil grew stronger. It learned how to root itself in hearts and homes. It made cruelty feel like strength. It made domination feel like order. It made obedience feel like virtue. Those who could not see evil heard lies and thought them truth. They heard noise and thought it inspiring. They set aside their compassion and worshiped at the altar of a false god. They insisted all was well, even as their families divided. In the beginning, those who resisted did not know what to do. How could others not see what was so clear? Some grew exhausted, some grew numb. Some bargained with the evil, believing they could overcome it through some compromise. Registers grieved the loss of the world they thought they were understood. The evil grew and thrived, and as the world grew more and more violent and frightening, the resistors found clarity and determination, and they found each other. The resistors marched in the street, and they gathered at street corners, protesting. They shared photos and videos of who's being harmed and who's harming them. They wrote letters, they made phone calls, and they demanded that those with power speak and act. They refused to trade their conscience for comfort. They refused to harden their hearts for the sake of belonging. They refused to become what they feared. They chose courage without cruelty. They chose truth without compromise. They chose compassion and love over fear and anger. They built a quiet network of care, and they protected the vulnerable. And they shared a vision of what the world could be, and they showed their children values to live by. And those who could not see evil, some would one day begin to see, slowly and painfully. And when the harm reached their own doors, some would turn away in silence, carrying questions they did not yet have language for. Some would cling more tightly to the lie, reshaping truth to preserve their belonging. And some would be broken by the very thing they had trusted to save them. For evil does not only wound those it targets, it consumes those it serves. It hollows those who worship it, and it abandons those who depend on it. And so, there came a time when the evil was diminished. For there is a law older than fear and stronger than lies, that what is built on cruelty collapses, that what is built on deception devours itself, that what is built on love endures. And the evil never fully disappeared, for it is the nature of evil to change shape and live on. But this isn't really a story about evil. This is a story about who the people become when they are asked to choose what kind of world we will make together. May it be so, and may we find our part and place of making that world together. Amen.
Please stand as you're able and join in body and spirit as we sing This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Let it shine, indeed. We invite everyone to join us for coffee after the service.